Hey guys, Robin here, and first of all, I know what you're thinking. What? An HD movie review? I thought that wasn't happening anymore. Well, well for the, well, the reason why the HD review format is back is because my iPad, well, I mean, aside from my iPad being a broken piece of crap, now it's a really broken piece of crap. Because, I was leaning out the window to, like, take a picture of the moon. The wind blew the iPad out of my hands. I went outside to go and look for it. But I went back inside because at that point it was 1:30 in the morning. And so I was like, I'll find it in the morning. Turns out my mom found it in the morning. After it had gotten rained on. So it's dead for good. And, my laptop... Oh my god... And so, my laptop, last week, it took its umpteenth, spill off whatever surface I had on, and the piece of plastic connecting the two hinges broke. And so I took it to Staples, because I had it covered under warranty. They sent it away to get shipped, and I got a call from Staples main HQ or whatever, or wherever they send their customer's computer to get fixed. They told me that they aren't able to fix it, so I had one of 3 to 4 options. Option number 1, I paid them to transfer all the files on my laptop onto an external hard drive, which I also pay for, and they send me that, as well as a refund of the $677 that I paid for the computer years ago, which was really awesome. Option number 2, they give me the money for the computer. They give me the money back for the computer. They take the hard drive out of the computer and send it to me, and I have someone extract them, or like my dad said, we buy a new laptop and we have the files put onto it. Option number 3, they send me the check and me on my merry way, and just no laptop, no files, nothing. And the possible 4th option was they just send me back the broken laptop, and I just deal with having a broken PC. I went with option number 1, which, I mean, like, yeah, it sucks that I'm not going to get my laptop back, but at least I'm getting all the files and enough money for a replacement back, which is really awesome. Now, the likely reason you clicked on this video. As you may know, I have recently become interested in movies starring one Ernest P. Worrell. Yeah, these ones. But what you may not know is Ernest Goes to Camp was not the first movie to have the character of Ernest in it. That honor goes to 1985's Dr. Otto and the Riddle of the Gloom Beam. Now, before you get all excited, and go out and start hunting down a copy of this movie, or buying an Amazon Prime subscription for this thing. Yes, this thing is on Prime. Before you go and do either one of those two things, expecting Ernest to be a major player, he's not. He is literally in, like, the last scene in the movie. At least in this print of it and the version on Amazon Prime. Because when the film came out, there was a pre-credit scene starring Ernest and Vern, in which you actually see a bit of what Vern looks like, and he's basically a fat guy with kind of with a flared laptop and glasses. But whereas Ernest is only in the last scene, Jim Varney plays the title character, and he plays a variety of characters from his various, like, commercials and stuff, like Rudd Hardtack and Auntie Nelda. who is a cantankerous old lady with a broken neck, and this pirate character, which is the closest the world will ever see to, and which is the closest thing the world will ever get to the movie that was supposed to come after Ernest in the Army, Ernest the Pirate. And, yeah. So the story of Dr. Otto is he's created a beam that basically destroys the world's economy, like all money becomes useless and stuff like that. And, yeah. Now, unlike the Ernest movies, which are mainly, like, family-friendly, Dr. Otto is a more darker film. For example, the movie flat out says that Dr. Otto was only born because his mom tried to have an abortion, but the process was really bungled up. And there's even a line where it said, "Bad news, Mrs. Von Schnick, it lived." And there's also a scene where a guy puts a gun in his mouth, but he doesn't actually pull the trigger, but still, that's not really something that you would want a kid to see. And, yeah, this is a very odd movie. I went into it, like, kind of sort of expecting the 80s, expecting the 80s equivalent to the movie Freaked, which, by the way, is the second film I ever reviewed. And so, and this dumbass guy and his much smarter female partner are tasked with trying to defeat Dr. Otto and take him out. Now, Dr. Otto is able to become the many characters that Barney plays by a disguise-making machine, which is what Ernest gets sucked into in the pre-credit scene, which I actually kind of wish they would have kept it in, because it kind of would have implied that Dr. Otto is basically Ernest gone evil. But yeah, Dr. Otto's where, like, there's, like, a lot of funky music, there's, like, a lot of, like, bright, like, lights. And it's a really, really interesting film. And, now, but basically, this movie, I paid, like, a lot more for it, but you're not really paying for the film itself. You're kind of paying for, like, a rare movie that's, like, hard to find. I don't know, maybe Dr. Otto is on YouTube. I know that the pre-credit scene with Ernest and Vern is there. But in terms of, like, okay, let's go, okay? So, acting, the acting in this movie, it's average. It's fine, it's serviceable. Not everyone, there's no, like, performances where you wonder how the heck did this person make it past the audition. But by the same token, no one is going to come out of this movie with an Oscar for acting. It's just basically the actors do what they need to do. They do what they need to do, and it's okay. The writing, this film's writing, the writing, it's okay. I mean, there are some parts that there's, like, the pacing in certain scenes, the pacing in the film is okay. It moves along at, like, a nice pace, basically showing Dr. Otto's Gloom Beam basically destroying the effects of the beam. Okay, it goes as far as, it ranges from erasing all money from bank computers to making piggy banks. Yes, actual, honest-to-God, like, piggy banks. Kinda, sorta, come on, son of a bitch. God, don't you just hate when your props won't cooperate? Anyway, makes actual piggy banks like this one, like, actually explode. There's even a scene where a guy is at a gas station paying for something, which, by the way, features a cameo from Bill Burge, who played Bobby in the Ernest movies. And he's like, and he is still alive and well at the age of 88, which is really awesome. And yeah, basically a guy, okay, newer viewers, so you go to a store, you pay something with a card, you usually slide it into the machine, you put it in your pin, etc. Or you use it by tap. Back in the 80s, however, the way they did it is they would put your card in kind of a contraption that had like a handle that would go like that, like kind of like that, and somehow that was how they did it. But the guy tried to pay for it. The thing just keep going back and forth, like, yeah. And Bill Burr says something like, maybe you should have paid cash. And yeah, so yeah, the acting, writing, and the pacing is just fine. The movie's special effects, now the movie's special effects, given the fact that this movie's budget was $880,000, the effects are very good. They range from words like deficit, foreclosure appearing on the screen, to the trippy screen as Dr. Otto is being transformed into a disguise. And, yeah. Also, we do see Dr. Otto's lair, which is a really impressive miniature effect. And, yeah. And there are various shootouts, which are cool. The movie's costuming, I mean, just freaking look at Dr. Otto's costume there. Yeah, the movie's costumes are really good. Now, Barney also does voice a monster made of garbage, not to be confused with Hedorah from the Godzilla films. He voices this monster that somehow has a connection to the hero Lance, and Dr. Otto also has a third hand, like on top of its head, that kind of goes like that. That it's like that, yeah. And yeah. And yeah, Dr. Otto, I mean, yeah, it's an okay film. I mean, it's not Jim Varney's, well, it's not Jim Varney's best film. If you ask me, that honor would go to like Ernest Scared Stupid, or Ernest Goes to Jail, which I don't have yet, or the Beverly Hillbillies, where Jim Varney played Jed Clampett, which, by the way, masterful casting on the part of that movie. Now, but if you're interested in Jim Varney movies that aren't Ernest, like if you want to see what Jim Varney did outside of playing Ernest, I would definitely check this out. If I had to have like any one gripe with the film, now I don't know if the pre-credits scene with Ernest and Vern was like, I don't know if that's like a deleted scene, or for some reason it just wasn't included in this print or the one on or the print that's on Amazon. I'm not sure if it was deleted or they just didn't include it in those two releases, but yeah, I mean, so, but either way, it's kind of an editing. Either way, I think it's an editing mistake, because if they had left it in, it would, like I said before, it would imply that Dr. Otto is basically evil Ernest, which we also see in Ernest Goes to Jail in the form of Mr. Nash, and yeah. And all of Dr. Otto's like flashbacks would it's just because he's crazy or something like that. Yeah. And yeah. But yeah, I mean, I do recommend this film. Like, I mean, it's not like the best movie ever made, like, but if you're curious to see what Jim Varney did outside of the Ernest movies, which I don't count this as an Ernest movie, because I don't count this as an Ernest movie because first of all, Ernest is only at the beginning and end of the film, and he's not really mentioned between those two scenes. And all the characters that Varney plays, aside from Dr. Otto, they're not really related to Ernest. They're just kind of like characters that he played. But yeah, Dr. Otto and the Riddle of the Gloom Beam, I do recommend it. I mean, it's decent. It's a good way to kill 91 minutes. Yeah. Although, I kind of do wish that instead of Lance, but instead of casting like some of the guys Lance, I kind of think they missed an opportunity to have like Jim Varney as Ernest in that role, because it would have been pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, yeah. And I do kind of have a feeling that if Jim Varney was still around today, I kind of feel that either by this point I kind of feel that if a Dr. Otto sequel hadn't come out by this point, he'd be hard at work at one, because like I could totally see a Bill and Ted Face the Music style sequel to this. In fact, in 2012 they actually did try to get an Ernest reboot going, which would have followed Ernest's son Ernie, but nothing happened. But I think that if they do decide to like reboot Ernest, like featuring a relative of his, I honestly think that they should go for like Jim Carrey to play Ernest's brother, because in The Mask, Jim Carrey is able to pull off like a bunch of really screwball facial expressions, which is something that Jim Varney was known for. He was known for pulling off like faces like kind of like or like yeah. I mean, yeah, just like rest in peace, Jim Varney. I mean, that's me. Like, Jim Varney is really one of these guys that should still be around today. So yeah, I kind of like to take a moment of silence to honor the memories of both Jim Varney and my deceased laptop. So. And that'll do it for this review / update. So I hope you all enjoyed, and stay tuned to more videos coming soon. I'll see you all soon in the near future. I mean, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all soon in the near future. Peace.